Alright everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to be outlining what I think to be a good order that we should practice things in. Right, so what I think is a good outline for a practice session. Okay, and I think that this is important because oftentimes people will sit down and they'll go directly to practicing repertoire, so songs or what have you, or just playing through songs. And we're going to be talking about when it's appropriate to do that and when it's not, right? But for the most part, the way that I instruct people to structure their practice is largely the same. Now, at the beginning, when you first sit down, it's good to do a little bit of warm-up, okay? Now, this can be in the form of chromatic exercises. We can look up those. I'll have some available on my website as well. It can be warming up with scales and scale exercises, okay? Or some kind of right hand exercise if we're guitar players. So for example, a common chromatic exercise for the guitar is called the spider walk, right? And this is where we are playing a chromatic scale shape. We're using all four fingers. We're going right behind the fret. And when we get to the top, we start our way down. Now this can be done on the classical guitar when we are finger picking, alternating index and middle finger. It can be done with acoustic guitar or electric guitar where we are alternate picking. With the electric guitar, it would look like this. So we're lifting our fingers up, not very much. And with my right hand, I'm picking down and up, alternating. Now I have a lot of variations on this exercise available on my website. There's 3-note per string versions, right? There is the chromatic one. We can do twice in a row, or we can just do one at a time. We don't have to do things exactly the way that everybody instructs it. I think it's really good to break out of that, right? And I have this available in other video courses as well. So chromatic exercises, we could do right hand finger pick exercises, stuff like that to warm up. Then we would move on to scales. So that could be playing through our C major scale. Probably more than once. We could start at the very top part of that scale and play down. That sort of thing. We can even start from different notes in the scale if we like. From like the third. So we're getting used to different starting points. We can then move on to other scales that we're working on. Let's say the pentatonic scales. We might want to learn new ones or new shapes of the pentatonic scales. A lot of these things are available on my website as well. Okay. We can also do scale exercises, right, where we are breaking out of the one note after another kind of form, in the scalar form, and we are jumping around. This is a scale in thirds. We can also do like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and so on. So first we have chromatic exercises and warm-up exercises. Then we have scales and scale exercises. Next, I would incorporate some arpeggios, right? So it could be even 3-note arpeggios. Right, so that was going through the diatonic arpeggios. But we could just play through a couple of them. We could do larger arpeggio forms. Okay, so if we don't know what an arpeggio is, That's okay. You can leave it out from your practice if you like, but this is what I would do next. We can look up some of those as well. This is kind of teaching us what's called chord tones. It's very, very important for things like songwriting and improvisation and things, and just a really good exercise to break out of the scale format. So we can do all sorts of different arpeggio type things. I'm going to leave that to different video courses to discuss that. For right now, I'm just going to say that that's what I would do next. Then we can do some kind of chord practice where it can be like actively trying to change chords with more accuracy. Or maybe it's learning new chords, like we're going to be playing C dominant 9 or A minor 7, maybe stringing a few of them together. Learning some jazz voicings or something. Right, learning that across different keys as well. Right, learning different chord voicings or practicing changing between chords. Right, and getting our accuracy up with that. We're going to talk about how to do that in later sessions as well. It is after this that I would start practicing repertoire. So when it comes to practicing repertoire, it would be songs or pieces of music that you are trying to improve upon, right? This could be, a song by AC/DC. It could be a folk song. It could be a song that you wrote, right? It can be any of these things. It could be a classical song, right? It could be a Chopin nocturne. Whatever it is that you are trying to improve upon actively, go directly to the thing that you want to improve upon and then spend the next few minutes doing that, right? So I would probably spend a minute or two on the chromatic exercises, 3 to 4 minutes on practicing scales. You can always do longer. And a couple minutes on arpeggios and chord changes, and then the bulk of our practice on repertoire, okay? So it could be like a song that you wrote. Sorry if that's a bit quiet. That's a riff from a song in my band called Parentheses. And that song is called I'm Probably an Idiot. But this riff, you can start to practice that. Not you at home, but if I was practicing this song, I would be trying to perfect elements of that riff. Right, something like that. And I could be actively repeating certain parts. Maybe a little bit slower. Focusing on the tone I'm getting, right? How much tension is in my right arm, those types of things. And then, once I isolate, then I would want to integrate it again. We can even play it slow as well. Right, we don't want to be afraid of slowing things down. And we don't want to be too quick to speed things up either. And then, once we do a bit of a repertoire practice with a specific goal in mind, I might add, then we can go to free play. We can play some of the songs we already know quite well. If there are little things in there that we are having issues with because of maybe just bad habits being formed, then we want to make note of that and move on. And maybe practice that in the next session or something. And then we can also spend a little bit of time improvising, either to backing tracks or with a friend, or just playing around with the stuff that you know on your own, or songwriting. Okay? Now, you don't have to stick to this order, but I think that some kind of practice regimen should include those things. And we're going to talk about how to journal your practice in the next session.